Hi. Good morning, everybody. I am excited to be sharing with you guys today more color wheel stuff. I've been on a deep dive lately on learning as much as I can about color because hold on, I'm soaking my paintbrushes before I start painting. You want to do that? I say this every time I use them because I think it's so important, but like you want water to be up in I forgot what this is called. It's kind of a weird name. You want water to be up in here, not paint. So the paintbrush will soak up whatever you first dip your paintbrush in. And if it's like a deep red color, then it'll get sucked up into maybe it's film. It'll get sucked up in there, and then one day you're painting your masterpiece that's like, a piece of white. I don't know, the moon, the sky, I don't know. You want it to be, I guess I don't usually paint white. We'll say off-white, right? And then a glob of red comes out from the film coming out. That's assuming the thing is actually called film, which I don't really remember. But yeah, so like, I always tell you guys to do that or remind you. I should probably stop saying it. You guys have probably heard it enough. Okay, so yeah, I'm excited to be talking more about color and color wheels because I really feel like color is one of my personal greatest joys in life. I didn't do a lot of color theory when I was studying art. So I studied art in high school. And then I had a kid really, really young, like within a year of being in college. And so I ceased all art in an attempt to make sure that I could feed and clothe said child. And like self-expression was not a priority in any way, shape, or form. And neither was getting an art degree as like a very young, most of the time single mother. And so I really let go of art, and the art that I took in high school was awesome, but I never took a painting class. I just wasn't interested, and I find that super interesting. I'd love to be able to talk to my past self and say like, hey, what do you love so much about black and white? Like what? I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing because I think I got to work on tonal variations and all that a lot. I don't know how good I got at it because I think that it's still something that I'm struggling with now, but it is a little bit more intuitive to me than color is. Love color. Absolutely love it, but don't find it intuitive in that I really don't understand, or I have ever failed to hear a great explanation for cool and warm. People talk about that a lot, and I think it's super important, but I don't really feel like if you follow the rules about cool and warm, whether in your clothes or in your paintings, I don't think you're necessarily going to get the best results. And so because of all that, I've been doing a lot of studying of color theory because I never took a painting class. I only took drawing classes, and I took a sculpture class. And that was great. Like, I got pretty good at drawing, and I got pretty good at... No, I didn't get that good at sculpting. I mean, I was fine, but it wasn't like, it's not my thing so much, and so I didn't get super great at it. And I learned from that class, like, oh, this isn't really for me. And then I think I ended up taking like a sewing class. I kind of moved away from the fine arts like my last year of high school and went into sewing instead. And then the first thing that I really got back into once my kids were older was clothing, sewing, all of that. And then I was introduced to color theory from the perspective of seasonal color analysis. And it wasn't really popular at the time that I got back into clothes. My voice sounds so gravelly. Let me get some water. I got this a month or so ago. And this is like what a person is supposed to drink in one day. I actually usually drink probably twice this, especially if I'm waking up a lot at night. I'll drink this much water twice this in one day. I'm going to put a little salt too because I want to make sure my blood pressure is up because I started a new medication that can lower your blood pressure. So putting salt in water, just eating salt. Like I just didn't have a very salty breakfast. So let's see if that helps. Do I still sound so gravelly? Okay, so seasonal color analysis. I got into it, I don't know, before it became popular again. And like 10 years ago, maybe. And I thought it was like super eye-opening because I was like, oh, I think I'm an autumn. And then I found the work of David Zyla, and his stuff's a little more. I need to look into it again to give you a good explanation of what I think it is, but I would say it's a little different from other seasonal color analysis. So I would like to marry those two worlds in my brain. And so I'm really trying to wrap my head around color. I also find myself not coloring in a color palette that I like. I'm doing more just whatever the tubes of paint I have in front of me. I try to do realism. So if I was going to paint this giant water bottle or the cat, which the cat is in darkness because of color lighting. So the cat's actually a brighter white than that. But like if I was going to paint the cat or I was going to paint this, I would do it as a color accurately as possible most of the time because I kind of go into autopilot and I just zone out and I don't realize that I'm not being creative. I'm just copy and pasting. And I've gotten a lot better about it. I don't do it as much anymore. But it's still kind of my default mode. And so what I'm trying to do is get myself a reference, like create a color wheel or a color map or something like that. And I've made a couple on the iPad and I made one last week. Let's switch over to the overhead cam so you can see what I was working on. So this is the book that I'm working from, A Field Guide to Color. I really like it. This is what we made in the last live stream, but this was mostly just to see what these paints would create. They weren't my favorite colors. So what I like about this book is that you are encouraged by Lisa Solomon to create a color wheel that's just like your vibe, like your favorite. And is this hers? I don't think that's hers. Let's see what hers is. Maybe that's hers. I don't know. Yeah, so I guess I should have bookmarked that. That would have been useful. By the way, I just heard some noise and I think it might be my dog. So I may have to get up in a minute and go see what that's all about. I'm also going to be doing this in a future live stream where I think it was a person, so we're good. Okay, I'm going to try to create a chart so in the last live stream we did this. Live stream before we did this where we're like testing out these colors. And I'm going to fill up this book, hopefully, with every single color that I have in my studio. And I would like, as well as this, to also be creating this. This doesn't need to be done in here, but it might be useful to have it there. I just don't know if this book will be big enough, but I guess we could have 2 books. That might be a good thing, because then if you can't find one, maybe the other one's around. So you're like, well, I guess I'm not going to use my Roman smalls today because I don't have the book that has like the color swatches. I'll just be using my Schminke, because I do have the Schminke book. I'm speaking hypothetically, of course. I didn't used to lose things. I know that's a ADHD trait, to like lose things. I don't really have that. And, I didn't have that. But as my anxiety has gotten lower, I find that I do tend to lose things. Also, as my memory got worse. It's a little bit better right now, so I haven't had something just apparate and disappear from existence anytime recently. But it was happening a lot for a while. I think hormones have a lot to do with it. So I was thinking about this color wheel that I'm going to do today. And these are going to be hopefully my favorite colors. I'll do that attempt. And I'll label it as such, because I didn't label this one as being the Schminke specific color wheel. Oh, by the way, I'm not sure that this color wheel is the most accurate that we could do. That's actually something I'm studying, and I actually might make a actual video about it instead of only a live stream. So I would like to talk about like which color wheels are most accurate and for what circumstances. I think most of them are good enough depending on what you're doing. But because I came to color theory kind of late, I feel like I just want to learn as much as possible. And while I'm learning it, I might as well share it with everyone. So this is blue-green because I feel like I use a lot of colors in the blue-green spectrum in my paintings. Like I use more than what would be on here. And I also feel like I do a lot of pinks. So I'm going to add pink to this. Pink orange, but we'll just say pink because it's more of an orange leaning pink is usually what I would go with, because my seasonal color palette that I use in my clothes is autumn. I'm not sure how accurate that is. Like, I don't actually know if that's the right thing for me. And I'm hoping in my study of the color wheel to like understand that a little bit. I know that seasonal color analysis is not the same thing as color theory, but that's new information to me. Like, I didn't realize that they were different. And I think that that's pretty unusual for somebody to like have that go over their head, because I think most people who study art first, like I did, long before I studied anything to do with clothing, they would be exposed to color theory. And I'm sure that I was, but I think it was relatively rudimentary. And I don't remember it other than like the kindergarten version, which is, you know, I mean, it has its limitations, you know, like, I mean, I'm not even sure how accurate it is. So I have some color theory that I've studied from different books over the years, but because I didn't realize it wasn't the same thing. Sorry, I'm realizing there's like some crumbs in here. Because I didn't realize that color theory and seasonal colors weren't really using the same set of rules, I've been a little bit confused about color. Because I guess for me, I was assuming that like, okay, these two systems, there must be some rudimentary scientific principles like gravity, like the pen drops, right? Like it just happens. Like it's so consistent. I didn't even worry that I was going to embarrass myself by saying the pen drops at the same time as actually dropping it. There was no fear in me that this wouldn't work out. Like I'm very, very, very confident in it. And I thought that colors color theory was more like that. Because is it a theory of gravity, or is gravity just a rule? I think it might just be a rule. So like, I guess in science you've got both, and one's more reliable than the other. So I guess I missed the theory part of color theory and just took it as color law, color rule. And now I'm trying to learn more about the theories and understand, and I would love to share more about that with you all because it's something that I'm super curious about. So let's label this real quick. Well, I'm thinking it. I'm always concerned. I have dyslexia, so I'm always concerned I'm not going to spell Schminke correctly. Okay, we have labeled it. We're good. Okay, I want to share with you guys something else I learned about black paint because she actually has it in her book. And that is that lamp black, which is the black that I purchased, is based on carbon. So I was wondering about this black, like I knew there were different kinds, and I've read this book, so I theoretically should have known, but you know, my memory's not amazing. So basically you've got the black that I have, lamp black, isn't, I think it's more transparent in nature. So it's based on carbon, tends to have a brownish undertone, although some lamp blacks read a bit blue, reads warmer, has moderate strength to alter color, is usually more transparent in nature. Versus a Mars black, which is based on iron, tends to have a bluer undertone, which kind of doesn't make sense to me. I would have thought something based on iron would be like red. Reads cooler and is also more neutral, will make a more familiar gray, is stronger than ivory black in altering power, is opaque. Apparently lamp black is under ivory. So I think I have cat hair in my mouth. So knowing that makes me realize that when I'm tinting, so I actually didn't do it yet, but if we did these colors and tinted them with black, we do have black and white tinted for this third level. For this level here, it's gonna be more bluish than a more neutral. Reads cooler and is also more neutral. I'm not really sure what that means. That's contradictory in what I understand about color theory. So that's just good to know. And if we look at the swatch that we created a couple weeks ago, lamp black, I have it next to Paynes Grey, which is bluish. And it's also next to Vermillion. And I would say it's like very, very solidly between these two. I don't feel like it's leaning more blue. I don't feel, if anything, I'd say it's leaning more red. When I look up at what you're seeing, I would say it's maybe leaning more red, if anything, but I really feel it's very neutral. So I think we're good with this lamp black when we're mixing our tints and shades and all that. I know that it would have been so nice for you. Oh, I want to put my phone on silent. I really don't like it when it goes off. When I'm trying to do a live stream. We'll do it on the, okay, it's on the iPad as well. It just did it automatically. That's so nice. So I'm opening up my color wheel right now on Procreate. You're not going to see it because I just don't see why you need to. I don't see how to help you. Oh, how odd. Okay. Sorry, I've got... We'll just use hers. Okay. What I wanted to show you was tint, hue, shade, but I messed up something on Procreate, and so that's going to take a few minutes to fix, and I'm going to not worry about that right now. We'll just use hers. So if you didn't do this last week with me, the way I'm doing this is I'm doing the first one is a hue. I'm not doing it in the order that she has it here. I'm doing this one as like the main color, and then hue, and then shade. And shade is, oh no, I'm not doing this one that she did. I changed my color wheel so that I'm doing tone. So tone to me is the most important, and kind of why I didn't do shade, just because like I don't mind if we don't even get to that, because shade is just kind of like really, really dark, and it doesn't give you as much information about the overall palette, because it's just going to be very, very, very dark versions of this, and they kind of all look really close to black. And when you're doing watercolor, that's really more what you want anyways. You want you want a little light to be coming through in almost all cases. There's very, very few times that you wouldn't want that. The only time I kind of don't want light coming through is when I'm like doing somebody's eye, like the actual not iris, pupil. The actual pupil is like literally a dark hole, so it should be very dark, and you want all the attention to go to the eyes. So I don't mind if it's actually black, and I'll usually use a pencil for that, so a color pencil. And it's then opaque, and you can't really see through it much unless you're using a more opaque pencil. Okay, so my favorite colors. This is actually hard for me to decide because I just like color in general. I like all the colors. And I'm long-winded. I talked to you guys for a whole 23 minutes before even breaking out the paints. Okay. Start with yellow so that everything stays clean. I mentioned in the last live stream that I really like this this yellow, because it's a little orange leaning. I mean, yeah, orange. It's a little orange leaning, which is how I prefer my yellows. And so it's like kind of my favorite yellow just out the door, which is one of the reasons why I'm happy to be making my personal color palette with the Schmincke palette that I've got, because it's just so most of the colors that I happen to get in it are just great. Okay, so for our next level, we just add more water. We could add white, and I think that's what I did last time, but we could also just have very little pigment on our brush, and it'll pretty much have the same effect, because with watercolor the paper is showing through. So we can compare when it dries to try to make sure I'm not putting too much on. We can compare and say, how is this with white added versus how is it with just water added, and see if there's a huge difference. The next is yellow orange. Now, I think I ended up, so I have this really nice red that is light fast, and I have this beautiful red that is not light fast, and I really liked the color of this better, so we're gonna go with that, even though I probably wouldn't excuse me, I don't know how comfortable I'd feel using this in a painting, but we can go back to the store and see if we can get a, I don't know how well you can see it. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus. I don't know how well the difference in the shade is showing up, but this is much more purple. This is much more orange. And I got this much different one so that I'd have a very different color. But the reality is that this is a tiny tube, and I could use it just in sketchbooks and not worry that it's not light fast. Because if it's in a sketchbook, it's not going to be exposed to light. And if I was ever going to sell the painting, it would be a print. And it doesn't matter if something's light fast if you're selling a print, because and that doesn't, you just need your printer ink to be light fast, not the actual paint you're using. So I know I could do that and just get a really similar color in, I didn't realize I liked that color so much. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like, oh, I really like this more purpley one. Actually, I would say it's like more pink. Isn't that what purple is though? I'm a little confused about what pink is actually. I Googled it the other day because I was like, what is everybody saying about pink? And they said it's pink, red with white. But I think pink is really, really diverse, and that is not always the case. I think there's oftentimes purple added, blue added. Yeah, I think I read somewhere like blue was added. How much can I add? This is yellow orange. We want it to be more yellow than orange because we're going to do orange in a minute. And we got to mix it because I don't have an orange. And I do like that color. I think I would add maybe a little more blue, which is probably why I like that red. I like a little bit more blue added to make it a little more neutral. Ooh, do I have any blue on my palette? Ugh. No, that turned it green. That's not what I want. No, not at all. Okay, we'll just leave it as it is. Except I don't think there's enough pigment in it. I think we need to add some more. I want it to be more pigmented so that section by comparison. Oh, I added too much water. We're going to get a lot of blooms. Blooms happen when you add a lot of water. And then let's just... Nope, that was nothing. Let's try again. Oh, it's coming out so light. I think that maybe is the benefit of using the white, is that you can know what color you're getting because you've kind of made a gouache. You know what color you're getting. Will you lighten it? But you know, I don't paint like that. There's a hair here and I'm trying to pull it out and I'm just pulling paint out. And then before we move on, I'll go ahead and I'll tint. I wish I could remember what color that is. Let's get out our color swatch because that might be the black. No, it's a blue. It's Paynes Grey. Let's see if the one next door is black. Yay. Okay, so let's get that. Put some water on this and reactivate it. I would say the Schmincke paints, I haven't used them a lot. I've been mostly using Sennelier on my other paintings, and because that's just what I'm used to. But it seems like it re-wets really easily, and that's nice. Well, it's not so nice when you're doing a painting because sometimes it means it lifts too easily. So we need, I do not have white in Schmincke. I just have a Van Gogh. Oh no, it's stuck. I already have some on the palette. Okay. I guess I'll add it there again. Oh no, it's separated. Which isn't good because the separating, the gum arabic is kind of yellow, and so now we've got a big glob of yellow. Okay, so now we've got a nice gray, and we can tint our yellow. think my dog wants in. I'm gonna have to get up and let her in. You know what? That space was not clean enough. Let's clean it off first. Nope, she left. She walked away. I'm listening to see what she's gonna do. If she's gonna want to come back. It's kind of a dark gray. All right. There we go. I don't like it. I didn't like it last time. So how can I make it my favorite? My favorite tinted, we could try using an opposite color. So opposite on the color wheel, which would be purple. So we could add purple to it. I knew I didn't like it. I should have been looking at this this all along so that yeah, it didn't even occur to me to check the other color wheel to see if I was making my favorite colors. Okay. We can try adding purple, and we'll do it on the test sheet first. And I don't have purple, so that would be this blue. So yeah, to tone something. I'm saying tint, but I mean tone. Hold on, let me make sure I'm saying my terms right. I sometimes get them mixed up. Yep, tone. To tone something, you can just use the opposite color on the color wheel. Oh, that's cool. I like that. It's not what you would think at all. It's almost like the two colors haven't mixed, which I love, but it gives it a bit of a brownish color. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I like that a lot. Let's see if I can pull some more pigment because I want it to be a bit darker, more saturated. Is this just red? Huh. Red is definitely not opposite on this color wheel. Whether or not there's some color wheel out there where it is the opposite, I don't know. Let's put a little bit more blue down. Adar Frida. You have such a calming energy and your video quality is so good. What is your camera setup? Hi, Adar. That is such a nice thing to say because I don't really know if I'm calming. I'd like to be. I would like to be the kind of person that other people find calming. That is a beautiful purple. That is so pretty. I'd love to be that person, but like, I don't know. You'd have to ask my family. I can answer the video setup with a little more confidence. I really do not like that this is still shaking. But see, like, this is like my happy place. Like, sitting here mixing colors. It's almost better than doing a painting. Because when you do a painting, like, you have like a certain goal in mind that can be a little bit lofty. Meaning that it might work out, it might not. And wow, that is really brown. And here, like, if I make a mistake, it's so okay. I think it's better if I added some mostly red and not purple. So if we compare these two, that's certainly more yellow. What we know of as yellow when I'm adding purple. So I wasn't adding purple. I thought that was the purple I mixed last time when I put red and blue next to each other. But when I re-wet it more, I realized it was only the red. So basically I just accidentally made my favorite yellow by adding red. So I just made orange. That's not the opposite of the color wheel. Help me. See why I have problems with colors? I'm just slowly laughing at myself because it's just like, yeah, you just made orange. That's your favorite yellow? That's your favorite tint of yellow is orange. Okay, so my camera's set up. Let me answer your question. The camera that I'm looking at and talking to you is a discontinued camera. It's a Canon M6 Mark II. Most of my videos are filmed with that. Like that's, and then I have like a couple of filters on it, and I have it mounted above a screen. So I'm looking at the screen and making sure that everything's arranged correctly, like that I'm in frame, that the camera's focused on me and not, you know, something in the background, like maybe the cat, which would be fine, but like maybe not like that big black area that is nothing. And then this camera is on Osmo Pocket 3. Yeah, Pocket 3. And that camera is a little bit newer to me. I tried using an old iPhone to, oops, splashing water all over my paper. I tried using an old iPhone to do this overhead, but the way that the iPhone goes into the computer, you do not have any control over the like ISO or anything like that. And so it was super red. Like when I would put my hands under, I'm not a red person at all. I look redder in this than I actually am. My hands are like kind of green looking and this color is like a light pink. So I have controlled the color settings in this. Still not 100% accurate. Is it accurate in this? No. I actually have a filter on that happens to increase red. That's not like its point. Its point is to deepen the contrast a little bit, but it just ends up making it red seems to be one of the things that, so you'll see like in a lot of videos I look like I have really red hair, and I have like a brownish blonde, brownish red, blondish red in my roots. You can't really see it in this camera, but yeah, so both of these cameras are intensifying the reds, and so it's not really that color accurate, but it's so much better than the iPhone was, because the iPhone would just really intensify the reds when it was using continuity camera. So basically with iPhones you can hook it up to a Mac and do continuity camera, and that just means that you don't have like, if I just set up my iPhone right now and like showed it to you through the camera, you would see like the record dot and all the other information that I don't want on there obscuring what I'm doing here. So you have to use continuity camera. There's probably some other apps or add-ons that you can use, but I wasn't using them. So that's a very long-winded answer to your question. I hope, Adar, that helps you. And we need to do something about this because it's just orange, right? We're just going to take this and it is though, I would say maybe it just has the tiniest bit of blue, because I don't think that when I mix yellow with the red, either of my reds, I don't think we're going to get that. Now I would say I tend to, believing that I'm a fall color season, which I don't know if I am, I tend to wear a lot of this color, and I don't think that's the best color for me. I'm beginning to think that my seasonal color analysis that I did on myself years ago is not accurate, mostly because I'm neutral, and seasonal color analysis I don't think really works for neutral. I didn't realize I was neutral. I thought I was more leaning warm because I'm very yellow, but I think it might be more green than yellow. So maybe I'm an olive or neutral, not really sure. But I wear a lot of these oranges and love them, but I also do like a bright orange when I'm painting, like just to like pop. So I'm going to make just a bright orange for here, And then we will, for my favorite color, make a very more muted orange here. And I'm going to wait on the yellow orange, and I'm going to make them together. By the way, Adar, thank you for saying such nice things about my video quality being good, because that's like super important to me. How's the audio? What do you think of the audio? I really like, I have a lot of sensory issues, and so I really can't stand, like, it makes it so hard for me to listen to the information if something's off in the video, whether it's the video quality. It's usually the audio that's bugging me. But video quality, I guess it's usually audio that bugs me. But I do appreciate like crisp video. I really, really love it if somebody's got good visuals as well. What do I want to mix in? I mean, blue or purple is the obvious. But I feel like the blue's too bright. And I'm trying to go for more dark. My dog is in the kitchen again, doing who knows what. Oh, I think she's coming down the hallway. I'm going to ask her to come in. Give me 1 second. Taya, come. Come. Come here. Taya, come right here. Come inside. Okay. She listened. She's a basset doodle. And basset doodles are notoriously bad listeners, and as she's gotten older, she listens less and less and less. So the blue is too light. I don't have another way to make purple. We're just gonna have it not be a super deep color. How did I make this? If this is red purple, it's a muddy color. I would have to look back at the footage to see how I made it, but I'm pretty sure I didn't use this. But you know, we can test it. We can test my theory. Super simple to do. Let's use the back of that. And okay, good. She decided to go to sleep under my desk, which is a really good thing, because otherwise she would be walking all over my studio looking for food, even though there's literally no food. In here, she's still might be optimistic and cause havoc. Yeah, that's definitely a muddy purple. Okay, perfect. That should be perfect for mixing the orange that I want. But we're gonna just mostly use, that's interesting. If I have just a tiny bit of purple in, that actually makes a really cool red. If we do the red with a little bit of the blue mixed in. So just keep in mind when I'm doing this that all of your paints are gonna have different chemical composition, and your results may vary unless you're like using the exact same colors I am. Your results may vary. Yay, I like that orange. I said I was going to do a bright orange, so we're going to have this be our tint. So we mixed both blue and red and yellow to get this color. And I probably could put more. So I actually thought that this was a color I could wear, but I think it's too orange for me. I think I'd do better with browns than oranges, because when you're neutral, you're not really close enough to being warm. When you're warm, you can wear oranges. And let's see. If I wanted to do yellow-orange, so that's my orange that I like. If I want to do yellow-orange, I would add a little bit more yellow to that exact same color. Maybe a little more purple. Or I guess blue is what I'm saying. I think we need a little bit more yellow. We're getting basically the same color. But a little bit more yellow. Let's add a little more yellow. And then what if we added even more yellow? Then we would have my favorite yellow. We need even more yellow. I'm going to be mixing on the paper so that we can get that. I like how opaque this yellow is. Okay, there we go. We fixed it. I wasn't sure who is going to be available more during the day. And I would say the chat is seriously so much quieter during the day, which I guess in a way is like good because I'm getting more done, but it is a little lonely. Or maybe people are just really done with color wheels and they don't care. Why does this not look any different? I just mixed an orange, what I thought was a bright orange, and it is not looking any different than when I put purple in. Did I not successfully put purple in, or is it going to dry? I should have had it going the other way with the more yellow on that side. Yeah, it's not a particularly bright orange. Probably because the paints that I'm using aren't. Probably because the yellow that I'm using is already kind of a little bit orange. If I use a lemon yellow instead of this cadmium yellow deep, first of all, the word deep is in it, so it's not going to be a bright anything. Okay, that's fine. I don't have other Schmincke colors. And then we're just going to add some water to that. That one, I think. Did you guys hear the dog? It's not me making that noise. Red, orange. That's kind of a red orange right there. I think for red orange, we're going to add a little purple. Yay! I really like that. I think we could call this purple. We maybe need to add a little bit more yellow. Maybe a little more red. Is it okay that this is red orange? Meaning, is it okay that there's so much purple in it? Like, is it at that point more of a purple, not orange in any way, shape, or form? Mixing on the paper to right my wrongs. Voila! We've got it kind of where it needs to be. Let's just add a little bit of water. We'll lighten up that color. Well, the word's tint, right? Tint. Make it lighter. And then let's tone it, which is my favorite. I feel like that's already toned. It's fine. But we can tone a little bit more, I guess. Let's pick up some blue. blue and red. We're making a purple, and then we'll add a little bit of yellow, or a lot of yellow. Yeah, that didn't get us very far. Okay, that is kind of puke colored. Are we getting somewhere? Red, orange. Red, orange. Okay, that works. A smart thing to do right now would be to just add black to this and see what we get for the shade. Look, it's black. It's just another version of black. I think it made it too small for it to really matter. Now we do red. And my favorite shade of red is most definitely more pink than orange. And I think we're just gonna go straight in with red just as it is. This cochineal. I feel like so far I'm making a palette I would actually use. I feel like it gets a little wonky when we get more over to this area. I also don't know if I'm gonna be on here that much longer because it is day 2 of my period and I'm feeling a little woozy. And it might be the new medication I'm taking that's making me feel, this is too pink. Let's mix it with the other red. Let's mix the 2 reds up. Yeah, I definitely use the orange red over here because that is not, it's not that I don't like the color. It's that it's not my idea of what red is. For the most part. I mean, it's still pretty, but I think I'd rather, I guess I'd rather it be this. I don't know though. I feel like it would just depend on the painting. Is this muted enough though for me to use? Oh no, did I get some separation there? I don't know if anybody's actually here and listening, or I guess you guys could be listening in the future, not in the present, but I think that I'm also going to be streaming to Twitch. I'd like to try it out, to try them together. So as I'm streaming to YouTube, I'll also be streaming to Twitch at the same time. I think I'm going to try that out. Okay, so like a toned red. I mean, the only thing we can really add to it would be yellow or blue. Or gray, I guess. We could try adding a gray to it. I don't think I'd like that as much as adding blue. I kind of wish I had. Ooh, you know, we could add Paynes Grey to it. Paynes Grey is dark and blue. So let's see what we get. I don't think it has enough yellow. So let's use a little bit more of this one. I'm looking for like a nice brown. One of the reasons I love doing this is that it really helps me understand what colors are in my favorite colors. Why do I like a certain color? I've learned a lot of this kind of thing from dyeing clothes. Oh, I forgot to just lighten the color and make a I think I need to go rest. I'm really struggling to remember simple things like tint. Tint is when you just add water. Why is this so hard for me right now? I guess all the words kind of sound the same to me, like tint, shade, tone. They just, to me, they all mean change. Like you changed the color somehow. I'm really liking how the color wheel's turning out. I guess it's really similar to this one. I would say my red orange is a little more purpley. And my orange has more depth to it than this one did. So, and I already liked the yellow just fine. Yeah, okay, I think we're doing a good job of making my perfect color wheel. And that's important to me because I'm going to use it in my paintings going forward, although I may have to. Sometimes it might be useful for me to perhaps... Oh, no, the Paynes Grey worked well. I was going to say maybe it'd be good for me to get ultramarine blue because that's a little bit deeper, but the Paynes Grey seems to be working just fine. Okay. Yeah, I'm having like serious memory problems right now. Like I keep forgetting what I'm doing, so I think it's time to go rest. I don't want to. I want to keep doing this. Oh, maybe if I drink some water. Maybe it's low blood pressure. Or if I stand up for a minute. Probably what I need is to lay down. The symptom that I'm getting right now is dizziness and like memory issues. Like I'm not remembering what I'm doing, and that to me is like a really bad sign. Okay, I'm gonna see if we can just do purple, and if I don't feel better by the time we're done with purple, I'm gonna go rest and be frustrated that I didn't get to do as much as I wanted. I guess I shouldn't have sat talking to you and explaining to you what I think about color wheels. I should have just dove in. But we don't live in the land of shoulda, coulda, woulda, and it is what it is, and that is what happened. So we're making purple. That means we need a little bit more blue than we did before. Is that red? Yes. Do I like this purple just on its own? Yes, but I would probably make it a little muddier. So let's just take the tiniest, I'd make it a little darker. So we can grab a teeny bit of Paynes Grey. Oh, this is red purple. So let's do some orange. Ooh, I love it. Although I feel like that's most red, not red purple. Let's just mix the tiniest bit of black with it. A little bit more black. And then let's clean out the brush. And make sure we have enough water. And do the tint. Okay, so I'm remembering better now. Ooh, you know what else I could do? I could go eat some candy. Candy raises your blood pressure. So blood pressure is something I struggle with. Mine's usually too low. And I googled what you can do to raise it, and salt's one, candy's one. Let me get candy. Kitty cat. Hi. Hello, kitty. Wipe my hand well so that we don't get cat hair in the paint. I don't eat much sugar. It does not agree with me. So this is like probably like 3 grams of sugar. And I seem to be able to, I don't know if I'm getting away with it. I hate eating on camera. I'm so self-conscious about it. I feel like I'm messy and now I'm talking with food in my mouth. Sorry. I love this. No, that's just purple. Okay, let's put that color here. There's always the possibility that I'm getting lightheaded because I'm forgetting to breathe. Anybody else do that? I'm so bad about that. Like, I'd be a far happier person if I could just remember to breathe all the time in my life. At least I'm remembering things now, though. Like, I'm remembering what I just did, how I did it. I'm getting less confused. Talking's supposed to raise your blood pressure, and I've been talking for an hour. So my blood pressure should be nice and high. Oh, you know what else I could do? I could eat some chips. Lots of salt. Eating on camera is like the absolute last thing I want to do. I freaking hate it. I really want to finish this though. Okay. I think eating raises your blood pressure too. Okay, I'm making purple. I think I'm going to use some of that Paynes Grey with that orange red. I feel like we're just making the same color over and over. Maybe it's lighter. Let's add a little blue. Am I out of blue? I think I used up all the blue. I need to start. I think I'm mixing. I need to have started putting this color more on this side. If I'm going to use kind of two colors in the same section, then I can start with that color more on the side I just did, because it's probably going to have more of whatever color I was working on. Let's mix a little blue in there. Is that my favorite purple? I mean, the color I made is my favorite. I just felt like I'd already made it when I toned it, so I needed something else. But I do like this as well. Let's mix on the paper a little bit more. And then, have I added enough water? Yeah. I just put, because I like making muddy colors, I just put my paintbrush kind of directly in my dirty water container. I have two containers for water right here. This is way too wet. If I make these touch, it's going to be like whoosh. Do you want to see? Do you want to see that happen? Woo! Then it will make it not tinted anymore. Oh, I was going to show you my paint water. I just put it in the dirty one because I'm just adding a little water. I read somewhere the other day that a lot of watercolor is just controlling the amount of water that's in your paint. Excuse me. See how embarrassing, because I ate on camera. Drank a bunch of water. I had a tongue tie for years. And when you have a tongue tie, you get like maladaptive practices around swallowing and breathing and all kinds of things. And so I still don't know how to swallow properly. Oh my gosh, that sounds so... that's what she said. Okay. Gross. It's not what I was saying. I literally meant food. Anyways, I swallow a lot of air when I'm chewing. And you guys just got to see that. Maybe I'll just cut this whole freaking thing out. That's embarrassing. Okay. Blue, purple. I mean, we kind of already made that. So if we added more blue, let's pick up our orangey red. That is like literally making a brighter purple. That could be our purple. I do like that. And that could be our blue purple. There, we would have had a lot more variation if I had made that color. Although, is it more or less red than this is? I'm not really sure. It's all a spectrum. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell. I think it has more blue. Okay, let's try again. Let's get the orange red. Let's put it right here. That's not what I was expecting. Here, I'll show you guys the purple I just made. It's much more like a red. We're trying to do a blue based purple right now. So I guess we go in with this and don't try too much of the red. I think that's... Oh, we're just making the brightest, prettiest purples now. What happened? I don't even paint with purple that much. I don't wear purple that much. I feel like it brings out the under eye circles I have. Which I've color corrected today with like blush. I kind of have teal under eye circles, but they can also lean this kind of purpley color. Okay, blue. I wish I wasn't shaking. Okay, we need blue. We need the teeniest bit of red. Okay. See, this is this is why you need your blood pressure to be higher. Like, this just wasn't making sense to me. Okay, I think I got it. This is bright, but I think I would use it in a painting. But we can mute it, and then I'll see if I like it better. And if I've been using... Let's just get the teeniest bit of this to mute it. Does that work? Yeah, I think that makes a different color. If I used the gray, the Paynes Grey, I feel like it would just turn it too blue. We may not be able to do that as much on this side. We may need to do a more of a brown. Do I have sepia? Yeah. Okay, so I think to neutralize on this side of the color wheel, I'm going to need to use sepia. Yay, I am learning. Color theory. Or, well, okay, I guess specifically in this case, I'm learning about complementary colors. Let's add some water to that. That is nothing. I added too much water. That is still nothing. How is that so desaturated? Let's add a little bit more. Too much red. Okay, I'm learning that if you're going to do a tint, mixing on the paper is not your best friend. Okay. And we can do oh, that doesn't make sense. That's just, there we go. I guess before we get too far, let's mix a yellow that's toned. Oh, look, it's kind of just black. No, I'm just kidding. It's got some yellow in it. And then we'll add a little more red. It was so wonky in the drawing that I did, but luckily it's getting covered up. We'll do a little bit more red. Yeah, I guess they are different enough. They're not, I wouldn't say that these are my like favorite colors. Okay. Now we're on to blue. I do like this blue a lot, so we can just use it as is. Would I paint with a blue this bright? I don't know. But this is certainly, cobalt blue is certainly one of my, I feel like it's kind of streaky. What could I add to this blue? I think I could add depth to it. I don't like how pale it is. So we can add some more depth. What would I change about the blue? I actually think I like this blue purple more than the one I made. My dog's leaving under the table. Okay, let's just add a little, I don't even know what color that is. We've just made kind of the blue purple that I liked over here. I feel like it's really hard to go wrong with blue. There's just no shade of blue that I'm not a huge fan of. Oh, maybe not like some super pale desaturated ones, but all the saturated ones are just all kind of incredible. I put way too much water there, so then I took water out of my brush with the rag. And that worked out good. Okay. Oh, we need the sepia. Where do we want to put it? I guess we could put it here. I'm so sorry for like the knocking noise. It's really bugging me. And I feel like every attempt I've made to make that noise go away hasn't worked out. That's just sepia. That's not a favorite color of any kind, but it is darker. Actually, it's kind of cool. All right, I kind of like it. I like it because it's not fully mixed. Oops, that was supposed to go. Oh no, that wasn't supposed to go here. It's just that dark. Let's add a little more blue to it then. Let's see if we can. Yeah, this isn't a favorite color of mine. A toned blue, I guess, is not my thing. I guess I'd prefer bright blue for the most part. All right, blue-green. I like this because we can break out our turquoise. Which one's turquoise? Probably the one that says turquoise, right? Yeah. What does this one say? Glacier. I already have turquoise here, but I'm going to put a little bit more because that one's really dried out. We'll add a little blue. There's way too much water in this. But we can use that as our... Is that a favorite? Blue-green? No. In no way, shape, or form would that ever be my favorite. What I made last time was. Do I have a green? Oh, because I actually have green on this palette. Okay, and wait. Sorry, I just bumped the mic. We actually have some on the palette already. Okay, it's too watery. That's pretty. I want it to be just a tad bit more blue. I do really like turquoise, but we'll put it in that category. And let's see how little sepia we need to add before it becomes not. Ooh, that's so pretty. I like that. I like really deep greens. Unlike blue, which I guess I just like my blues bright and my oranges bright. No, I mean, actually I like both with oranges. That's really not that much darker. Okay, green. Just plain old green. I mean, I just like so many greens. I don't really know if I have a favorite. Did I even add blue to that other green? But for the palette that I'm going to be doing, I don't think I'd use a bright green like this. I like it, but I wouldn't use it because I would... Not enough green. I wouldn't use it because green, I guess greens can be really like overpowering in a painting. And this is a very bright green, and since the rest of my color palette is very muted, it wouldn't make sense to do a bright green unless I really wanted that color to stand out on purpose. But if it was like the background, I don't think that'd be good. That's nice. That more muted green is preferable with the sepia mixed in. It's more of a army green, brown green, because you know, I just put sepia in it. We have one to go. I'm still a little dizzy, but I think we can finish this. Yellow, green. Okay, we get our yellow. Get our green. And a teeny bit of red in there. I like yellow greens too. That could be part of this thing here. Not sure I like this shade of army green. I think it's too yellow. What could I do to make it a favorite? Maybe add a little more green and make it closer to this one next to it. Or sometimes I'm just not gonna like all the colors, and that's okay. I actually think that that might be in my color palette, that green. I don't really like it, but I still think it probably works for me. And when I say my color palette, I don't necessarily mean that that's my seasonal color palette. I mean, yes, I mean my seasonal color palette, but I don't think I fit in a season. Look at that! I finished it! Woohoo! Okay, now we're gonna make the blue-green, because we're kind of working on that. We're gonna do a plain old turquoise. Plain old. Turquoise is amazing. It's not plain. We'll mix it with some blue. And then we'll mix it with some green. This takes a lot less brain power. Because we're just plain here. And then we're going to add a little bit of red to that green. One of my favorite things to combine is an orangey red with a turquoise and just like watch the colors separate out. I just think it looks really beautiful. Maybe I should have done it a little more organized, but okay. Pink. Pink's a little more hard for me. And then I think you need a lot more white. So I guess we can just, add some white to the red. And then I'll add a little of the other red to the red. Is that even pink anymore? When it's watercolor, how do you know if it's red or pink? Because you're just adding water. A little bit more of the red and maybe a tiny bit of blue. We just have to make sure that I don't know if I'm adding enough water for this to technically be pink. Oops. The watercolor, dries lighter than you would expect it to. Sorry, if you do watercolor, you do expect it. Oh, I forgot. The pen that I used to draw this one, it's not water. It's not waterproof. Oops. That's purple, not pink. That I've just mixed on my palette. Is this even pink anymore? Or have I added too much blue? It's pink, but I don't like it. I don't really like this pink. I feel like I've just done kind of the same pink. Maybe I need to add yellow? No, too yellow. I'm gonna have to work on pinks another day. There, that's kind of more what I was, no, not exactly. It was close to what I was going for. But maybe it's a little closer. This is not pink. This is orange. I think we're done. Yay! I got this color wheel done a lot faster than I got this one done. As far as like colors go, I do prefer this. I like both these purples, and that's much more brilliant, and I'm not sure if I want to be using it in my paintings, except I don't know if I want to use any bright colors at all except as highlights. So even though I really like that purple, I'm not sure how much I would use it. I'd probably use these two much more. I like this red purple more than I like that one. But I prefer the muted version of it. I much prefer it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to go rest. And I hope wherever you are in the world, you're having a wonderful day. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.